Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. If you're currently trying to navigate the sometimes overwhelming administrative journey of securing a Rhode Island death certificate, you are in the exact right place. We're going to untangle all that red tape together and give you a really clear, actionable roadmap today. But before we even get into the how-to, let me ask you a quick question. Did you know that if you're the executor of an estate, legal experts strongly advise that you request at least 10 certified copies of the death certificate right out of the gate? Seriously, 10! It sounds like a lot, right? But as you'll see today, this isn't just a basic piece of paper. It is an absolutely essential legal instrument that you're going to need again and again to unlock doors and settle affairs during what is already a really critical time. Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our agenda for today. 1. The basics and purpose. 2. Eligibility and documents needed. 3. Application methods and locations. 4. Fees and processing times. 5. Troubleshooting and expert tips. And finally, 6. Summary and official disclaimer. All right, Section 1, the basics and purpose. Let's look at why this document is so critical. A Rhode Island death certificate is basically the official state record that identifies a deceased person and the circumstances of their passing. But functionally, you can think of it as the master key for an estate. You literally cannot settle a financial estate in probate court without it. You can't claim life insurance proceeds or survivor benefits from the Social Security Administration without submitting a certified copy. Even doing things like transferring a car title or closing out a standard bank account requires this document. Institutions need absolute official proof, and this certified vital record is exactly how you provide it to them. Moving right along to Section 2, eligibility and documents needed. Basically, who can apply and what do you actually need to bring? So in Rhode Island, death records are considered highly confidential for the first 50 years. To get your hands on a certified copy, you have to prove you have what the state calls a direct and tangible interest. All that really means is you must be immediate family. So we're talking a spouse, a child, a parent, a sibling, or a grandparent. Alternatively, you can be a legal guardian, a funeral director, or an authorized attorney. If you don't fall into one of those very specific categories, or you don't have a direct court order, your request is going to be denied. It's an absolutely vital safeguard meant to protect the privacy of the deceased and their family. And this brilliantly illustrates your ID options. To prove you are an eligible person, you've got to provide identification. The easiest route, for sure, is bringing one primary government ID. Think your standard valid driver's license, a passport, or a military ID. But say you don't have one of those on hand. Well, Rhode Island allows you to substitute that by providing 2 secondary forms of ID. So this could be a combination of like a utility bill and a car registration, or a bank statement and a copy of your income tax return. The catch here? Both of those secondary documents absolutely must clearly show your correct name and your current address. All right, Section 3, application methods and locations. Where and how do we actually submit this request? You generally have 3 main avenues here. First up, you can apply in person. This can be done at the Rhode Island Department of Health's Center for Vital Records over in Cranston or at a local municipal clerk's office. Second, if you'd rather handle the whole shebang from your couch, you can apply online. Now, Rhode Island uses an official third-party partner network called VitalCheck for this. And third, you can always go the traditional route and submit your application by mail to either the state office or your local town office. But wait, I have to share this crucial insider tip derived directly from our sources. It's a real game changer. If the death occurred after January 1st, 2022, you actually don't have to wait in line at the centralized state office in Cranston. You can literally walk into any local city or town hall in Rhode Island, and they can pull the record from the statewide electronic system and print it out for you immediately. That is a massive time saver for recent records. Just keep in mind, for deaths prior to 2022, you do have to go to the specific town where the event occurred or where the person lived, or you can just head to the state office. Okay, Section 4, fees and processing times. Let's compare costs and wait times so you can pick the best option for your schedule. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that applying in person is not only the cheapest option at $22 for the first copy, but it's also the absolute only way to get same-day immediate service. Mail-in requests to the state cost $25 and can leave you waiting an agonizing 4 to 6 weeks. Online applications via VitalCheck kind of sit in the middle. They run you $25 plus various processing surcharges, but they cut that mail-in wait time down to about 1 to 2 weeks. Also, notice that across all the methods, every additional copy ordered at the same time is always a flat $18. That is exactly why ordering those 10 copies right up front, ideally in person, is so highly recommended. Section 5, troubleshooting and expert tips.
Let's look at some insider knowledge to help you avoid any annoying delays.
First and foremost, honesty is entirely non-negotiable here. Rhode Island general law is super clear on this. Submitting false information, say maybe tweaking your relationship to the deceased just to get the record faster, is a very serious crime. It carries a penalty of up to a $1,000 fine, up to a year in prison, or both. The state takes the confidentiality of these records incredibly seriously, so just make double sure every single detail on your application is 100% accurate.
Okay, here are some rapid-fire tips to avoid an instant rejection. If you're mailing your request to the state, make absolutely sure your check or money order is made payable exactly to the General Treasurer, State of Rhode Island. And never, ever mail cash. Now, if you happen to be handling international legal affairs and you need an apostille, which is like a special international certification, do not go to a local town clerk. You must go to the Cranston State Office to get the specific signature of the state registrar. Finally, if you're mailing your request and you need it faster, you can add a $7 fee, but you physically have to write the word "rush" on the outside of the mailing envelope to trigger that 5 to 7 business day expedited processing.
Let's move to and see how this builds a timeline for how these records age over the years. There is a strict 7-day legal deadline for a funeral director and a medical certifier to actually file the death certificate with the state before a body can even be removed from Rhode Island. Once it's filed, that record is locked down as confidential for exactly 50 years. After a half-century, it transfers over to the state archives and officially becomes a public record for anyone to access. That's a timeline that's actually notably shorter than the 100-year wait for birth and marriage records. All right, Section 6, Summary and Official Disclaimer. Let's wrap up this step-by-step guide. Just to quickly recap your action plan here. First, verify you meet that direct and tangible interest requirement. Second, gather your primary or secondary IDs. Third, choose your method, remembering that in-person is absolutely the fastest and the cheapest. Fourth, ensure your payment type matches your method, so again, no cash in the mail. And finally, save yourself some future headaches by requesting multiple copies right up front so you can handle all those estate matters efficiently. So the crucial point to remember is that bureaucracy is always subject to change. The information, fees, and timelines we've covered in this explainer are totally accurate as of August 26, 2026. But before you mail a check or drive across town to an office, always take just a brief moment to verify the current details on the official Rhode Island Department of Health website. And that brings us to the end of our roadmap. So, are you ready to navigate Rhode Island's vital record system with the confidence of an absolute insider? You've got the tools, you've got the tips, and you have the knowledge. Go grab your ID, plan out your approach, and get this vital task checked off your list. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer today, and happy navigating.